Juliana. I'm from English Education Study Program UIN Raden Fatah Palembang, and my student number is 17 20 20 50 71. So in this video, I would love to share with you about social linguistic topic. So today we are going to learn about language choice in multilingual, multicultural communities. And basically I will answer like 6 questions. So let's move on to the first question. The language choice, in my opinion, is how someone choose their language in their daily communication and when they socialize with others. But what if it's in multilingual or multicultural society or communities? I think some people can adapt and fit in other language communities, but then some other don't. So I would love to give an example. So I would love to give an example from myself. I used to live in Anambas for 4 years, but now I already moved to Palembang. And when I was in Anambas, I used Malay language, but in here, I use Palembang. But sometimes me and my friends we are talking in other language like Japanese or maybe Sundanese. Yeah, uh, but as an English education study program student, we also use English when we were studying in our class with our lecture. But when I met my friends that come from same place like me, from Riau Islands, I can casually talk in Malay with him or her. Yeah, so that's it. Let's move on to the question number 2. Okay, so for the second question, related to Kalala's example, uh, I I assume it's one of language repertoire, or when language has varieties from the dialect or maybe the style, how the pronouns or many other factors, and it's still related to the language choice that someone choose to fit in a multilingual communities. So I would love to give you an example. Here, I have one. Um, it's Kim Namjoon, 26 years old, from South Korea. He lives in Seoul, Gyeonggi-do province. Actually, Seoul has like traditional dialect. It's called Seoul Satori, but it's considered as standard of Korean language. But Namjoon has friends named Suga or Minyonggi. Suga from Daegu, so Suga has a different dialect or Daegu Satori, and also other friends called Jimin from Busan. So Jimin also has a dialect, Busan Satori. So what I want to tell you in here, like, so in their daily life, they can switch from different dialect from different varieties like Seoul, Busan, or Daegu. Yeah, I think. And also Kim Namjoon are really fluent in English, so he also could speak with American dialect, American accent very well. Yeah, thank you. Okay, for the third question, we are going to discuss about domain language use. I can say that domain is actually as a socio-cultural construct of the language, or in short, we can say it's pattern of the speech, pattern of how the communication topics relate, how the relationship between the speakers and the locals, where the speaker talk, where the communication happened. And domain also considered related to the society or the institution, something like that. And there are two types of domain. First is high domain and the second is low domain. mm, Meanwhile, code's choice is the choices of someone to switch or code switching or code mixing the language um, in a bilingual interaction. Okay, so for make it more clear, I would love to give you an example of domain. One example of a domain, like first, the domain is family. The addressee or the person we were speaking to are our parents, and the setting is at home. The topic is about a family holiday, and language is Palembangnes. And the other example is when we are at school, and that's domain is at school. The address is our teachers, and the topic is maybe about study, about teaching, and the language is more formal, more polite, like Indonesian language. And the example of code choices, when we need daily conversation with our friends, we can use Palembang language, and then we can use Palembang language, but we cannot do that with our teacher. Yeah, that's code choices. Okay, so let's discuss about the fourth question. It's about social factors that can affect someone's choice of code choice. The first one is, I think it will be easier for them to discuss about certain topic regardless where they are speaking. Like when me and my sister, we can talk casually at home when there is no one hear us. And the second, it's about the relationship or the status between the speakers. And the third is about features of setting, where, and also the dimension of formality, what kind of occasion we're in. And the fourth is about a function or goals of the communication, of the interaction. Okay, so now I will answer the fifth question. It's about diglossia and polyglossia. What actually diglossia? Diglossia is where the two languages or two dialects used in a single language communities, and it's differentiate uh, by two types. The first is L or low variety and H or high variety. What is low variety? It's like a common, like ordinary conversation. Meanwhile, the H variety is like more formal, like an educational purpose or academic purpose, something like that. And then the example like high variety of diglossia when we using Indonesian language in formal forum, but then we are using low variety in uh, using our regional example. I would love to give you one example from Indonesian language and Medan or South Sumatra. I mean North Sumatra. The example is in bahasa Indonesia, jangan main jauh-jauh, nanti hilang kamu. And in bahasa Medan, unang main dao, paima mago kau. Yeah, the meaning is same, but it's using two different languages. And for the polyglossia, I think it's same like diglossia, but the language is more than two, like more than two languages. For example, we know in Japanese, suku Jawa, there are like level of the language between their parents, between the older person, and between them and their friends. It's called like when they talk to their parents, it should using kromo alus, and to the older person, they are using kromo inggil and or ngoko with their friends, like a very different. Those three languages are very different, and it can consider it as polyglossia in bahasa Jawa. Okay, so we are ready on the last question. It's all about code switching and code mixing. Do you guys know what is code switching and what is code mixing? Actually, code switching and code mixing kind of similar, but I want to give you an example before the definition first. So when one of the example of code switching. Hi, how are you? Uh, Hi everyone, nice to meet you. Halo, apa kabar semua? Senang bertemu dengan Anda. That is code switching. We are switch our language from English to Indonesian language. It's called external switching because it's from native language to the foreign language. But there's also another code switching called internal switching. It's like from Indonesian to traditional or region accent. Like when I say I'm really fine, I'm okay with that. Tapi sebenarnya awak tak faham ya, saya ni kecewa dengan awak. Nah, that's the example of code switching. Switch to different language. And what about code mixing? Code mixing it's like mix element of the language. Like mix the word in a sentence. Okay, let me give you example. Like 안녕하세요. How are you? Nice to meet you. I am so good to be here. 감사합니다. That's like mixing between English language and Korean language. Okay, I think that's enough for my video today. I would love to thanks to Miss Medina as the lecturer who give me courage to make this video, and I am really sorry if I still make so many mistakes. I'm still on my progress to learning, and yeah, see you on the other video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.